what was the inspiration of the album, and when did you decide to create it?
So What Aloha Means was actually a song I wrote during COVID 5 years ago when the world was like crazy as heck too, right?
But you didn't release it.
I didn't release. I
Oh,
sat on it. I sat on it because I felt like I needed to wait on it for a bit. And so basically, the idea of what aloha means was right to show love and aloha to people, no matter what the color of their skin, no matter where they're from. And one of the lines that I love the most from that song is basically like all of the billions of sand beneath our feet, we're all different, but together we make a beach. So when you walk, when you walk to the beach, you don't see individual grains of sand, you see an entire beach. And that's the way we are as people, is we cannot see the individual. You got to see it as like we're all affecting each other.
We're all human.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We're living on the same earth. We got to like
Exactly.
show aloha to each other. So that's basically kind of the vibe of that. And, coming off with that aloha theme, I was like, man, I want to create an intro that has like that feeling to the top of this album that has like that Moana chic action, And so we created a very Polynesian style intro from it, and it goes right into the song. And then the outro is actually a throwback to Good Morning Hawaii. So it's I know Good Morning Hawaii is one of the songs that parents love to introduce their kids to because it's like a wake up song for them. So I was like, man, how cute would it be? Like the kids' voices from Kamehameha School, children's chorus, which, oh my gosh, what a privilege it was to work with them. Animua Garza, who has Choke Aloha himself.
Yes, one of the nicest guys ever.
The most talented and most humble musician there is I've ever met. And so just to work with him and with Linnell Bright, who was the choir director for Lilo and Stitch, the first movie,
cool.
working with these kids. Now, 20 years later, she's doing it again. And those same kids that sang on Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride on this newest movie, they sang on What Aloha Means. And so Good Morning Hawaii, we did a little throwback to it. It's the third track of the album. And just to kind of give the full experience of what that song represents and all the people that made it happen. Brother Calvin, our drummer that comes with us on tour, he did the drums for it. And he did the drums for a lot of the songs on this album. But just to kind of help you go through this album, What Aloha Means is the theme of this entire album. And so every song that would come afterwards would either have a theme of self-love to making sure day by day, right? I Want to Live, Uali'i, all these songs would show that you got to take care of you first. Make sure your mask is on first before assisting others, right? And then there's other songs about showing aloha to your loved one, your girl, and then you have songs about, just everything I try to make be a theme of what aloha means.
Yeah, I loved it. I think just your music in general is very positive and it's fun.
Thanks.
But I think this album was a little bit more deep than the other ones. A lot of it was like, your classic song, Ehu Girl,
Puppy Love.
Puppy Love, just like, love and like surfing and like good, very viral, like jam out in the summer. I think this one is like, man, you're really sitting and contemplating life, I'm not contemplating life at all. I just want to surf, right?
Which is like vibes, why I kind of wanted vibes to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, this is a deep album, and I do want to keep it light, because sometimes when you keep things heavy, it's a little bit, it can be too much. But I think with an album title like What Aloha Means, it needed to be like heavy in a lot of ways. Because Round and Round, once that song had come out, as a writer and hearing all the stories of somebody had just sent us a message saying it was the first time they had ever heard Round and Round, and they literally just put the gun down. I got this message two days ago, as I literally just pulled my finger away from the trigger because I heard Round and Round playing in the background, and I told myself, I gotta listen to this song. What is this song? And so he sent that in and he said, this song literally saved my life. And when that happens, I just think I used to be in a place where I was really suicidal and I was really not in a good place. So as a writer, when I hear that my existence after not wanting to exist is helping others to exist, it made me want to put an album together that fit not just Cool Down, not just Natural High and the puppy love stuff, which I will keep writing about. But if I can make that one difference and, write something that can help somebody to stay going, I like to do that.
Wow, it made me emotional. I don't know how you held it in.
Thanks, bro.
Insane.
I I don't know, bro. Like, I just feel like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that these fans are sharing that. I'm heartbroken that they're there.
Yeah.
Because I know what it feels like to not want to live. And that's why other songs like I Want to Live, that's on this album. I had written that song 6 years ago when I came out of my depression.
Wow.
And I thought, how would I feel how would I write now that I'm out of the mental space of that? How does it feel to be that depressed? And so I wrote every lyric, like, I'm here today feeling broken and shattered. I don't want to live. Why does everything feel like it's on fire? And that's how you feel when you're in that mental space. And then, so that's why the chorus of that song says, I want to live. No, I don't really want to die. I just need to see the light at the end of my tunnel. I really want to live. And I wanted to write that chorus to be like, when somebody's singing it, maybe they memorize the words. Hopefully, it can become like a self-soothing
their
thing.
Mantra.
Like, I want to live. No, I don't want to die. I just need to find the light at the end of my tunnel. And then I hit them with the second verse that says, if I ended it, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. A quote that I had heard many times when I was really depressed. And I just hope that anybody that's watching this, listening to this interview, listening to the song, if you know someone that's dealing with this, or you are that someone, we love you. We want you to live. We know you want to live. And so much of your loved ones want you to live. So listen to this song and remember, round and round we go. Yeah. If I ended it all back then, I would have never gotten to be here in my life. So same thing for you. There's beautiful horizons waiting for you.
Man, Roman, that is awesome. I think this is one of my favorite moments of all my podcasting, of all my episodes. Just you sharing that. I think that's definitely at the top. That's to know that, as creators, just to know that what you're doing is making a difference, Like I'm tearing up too. I'm like trying to not. There's tissues under there, by the way. If you need,
Thank you,
keep it for moments like this.
Yeah.
Just know that you're making a difference, and you don't do these things thinking like I'm gonna save a life, right?
Right.
You're just doing it hoping you can inspire somebody, or maybe they change their career path, or they go after what they love, or they just really dive into what they're passionate about. And for me, like that's what it's all about. But to hear years later, and sometimes you don't know 2 years later, like, hey, like I taught English in Madagascar, and like years later somebody's like, hey, Mr. Kamaka, I became an English professor. I ended up learning English and being able to go to college in America because of you, like
Absolutely.
whatever it is, like
Absolutely.
those moments. And just like that, like, hey, your song stopped me from pulling the trigger. That's heavy. That is like, to me, that's just like the biggest accomplishment. Like the followers, the money,
doesn't matter.
Like nothing else would matter except that. For me, that would be like my biggest accomplishment. That's just amazing.
It's not about what we can get, it's about what we can give. And what you mentioned about the actions that you've done in the past and the ripple effect it's done. That's why what Aloha means, if you listen to that one line, it says, sometimes just a smile is all that it's needed to give someone the hope they need to believe in. And so it doesn't matter if it's a song or something splashy, like a creative thing that's like maybe out there, like on the radio. It can be as simple as a smile that gave somebody that hope. It could be that gesture, that kind gesture you did of taking care of somebody, giving the musubi to the homeless man. Like it could be any small or big, it doesn't matter, gestures. How big or small it is, it's the motive, the intention. And like you said, you never know what that smile could do to somebody at the, food land or something that you were like, hey, because a lot of times we're so busy on our phone, we're so disconnected. But if we look up and we have eye contact with somebody and we just smile, you never know what they thought. They thought, you know what, if nobody smiles to me today, I'm done. I don't want to exist anymore. But that one smile did it. So anyway, not to get too heavy again, but the fact is it doesn't matter, content creator or not, songwriter or not, we all have aloha, the capacity to love, which is where we go into, we all need love. with the song we just did with Soulja. And I love that brother, Jacob, bro. He gets so much mana.
Yeah.
And he was sharing that too. It doesn't matter about money. It's about love. It's about love. So that's why that song was one of the ones we added to the set and to the album to emphasize that point. It's not about money or anything. It's about love.
Yeah. You had a lot of good collabs. And I want to talk about that.
Yep, absolutely.
But what just last thing adding to,
please,
what you were saying is I feel like sometimes we're a little hesitant to show aloha because I don't know what it is. It's like we almost have this hesitation of just like being the first to say hi or making the first move in anything, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a confidence issue or depending where we are. Like when I think about the lifestyle in Madagascar when I was living in my village was, every time you go out, you don't know anybody, you walk by somebody, you're always saying mano na salama. You're saying hi to them, you're greeting them,
right,
whether you know them or not. And there's a little bit of that here in Hawaii,
right,
just a little head nod or just like a little shaka for thanking something, but we don't really have that, like we're greeting everybody. So I live in an apartment building, right? And we have elevators. So every time, we also hear about like the awkward elevator. Like, do you talk or do you just go on your phone, whatever? So I try to always greet people just like, hey, good morning, how's it, whatever. And sometimes you'd be really surprised how, like when you talk to that guy, how different their demeanor changes, right? How you're thinking like my girlfriend and I, we've made so many trips up the elevator and down the elevator, and sometimes we'll get off and be like, wow, I didn't expect that person to be so friendly, or the opposite, like that person looked friendly but they didn't even say anything, So
right,
it's interesting to see that, like, but I would say as a person who wants to show aloha, I would say always try to be the first to show aloha, because that might be the activation of somebody else wanting to show aloha or throw a smile back. So I think it's scary, and sometimes we hesitate sometimes, and even for me it's awkward and it's uncomfortable sometimes, but just do it. Just be like, how's your day going? Or like if somebody actually asks me that, like, hey, how's your day going? Like I'm shocked and I'm like really honored.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like nobody ask me that, or so
absolutely. I love that point you brought out.
Try to do
initiate it.
Yeah, initiate it.
Take the first move.
Yeah. Okay, so going into your album collabs, you have with Soulja, with Jacob, Fia, The Green, Caleb. So many awesome collabs. I wanted to talk about the one with Fia because the first time I started to listen, I was like, is this an R&B song? Because like it was totally different than any song that I've heard from you, at least. So what was the inspiration behind that one?
Yeah, so it's a dance hall feel kind of vibe. Imua Garza and I produced this one together. I came up with these fun ideas of how to make this, just make it like pop and energetic. And we were like, man, like what style artist would fit, this vibe? And I know Fia likes dance hall style songs. And so we ended up sending him the song, and he's like, bro, I'm all about it, and so basically, the song is like lyrically about, your girl calming your nerves, and how, like, of course we can rile each other up, but calming each other is also like what aloha means, right? So that's kind of like the theme. But yeah, it was really cool. He's one of the best vocalists I've ever like stood in a room with. Like his runs are incredible. He's so smooth, and so it was such an honor to work with him. And he wrote his verse, like, I swear, like it was like 2 days, and that's quick. He came back quick with it, and so he's coming with us on tour. So we're so excited to jam on the West Coast with him, to sing "Calm My Nerves" live with everybody. But yeah, it's a totally different style. Like it's not like a normal Kolohe Kai song, but it was an honor to have Fia on it, and Brother Calvin did a lot of the drums and bass and percussive elements to it. So just trying to make sure I shout out everybody who was a part of this project. But yeah, Calm My Nerves is a cool gem on the album. I hope people are enjoying.
Yeah, it was a good surprise for me. And the next one I want to talk about is the one with Caleb.
Yeah.
With The Green. I remember you posted the video about it. That was the first time I saw it. And I was like, a Kolohe Kai Green collab? We've been waiting for this for how long?
I know. I've been waiting a long time too. We started exactly the same time. So like basically the This Is the Life album with Ehu Girl and Cool Down came out around the same time as their Love I song and their album. I think it didn't have a title. I think it was the Green. I forgot what the actual title was, but we basically started in the scene with the Green and Kolohe Kai at the same time, and it was such an honor to join forces with that crew and that team. And Caleb has always been a writer and vocalist that I've always admired. Like his lyrics are the way they flow in the melodies and the way he does some falsetto breaks at the end of his notes, and just overall I've always, and I remember Next Generation, like listening to Caleb sing what was that song? Rock, girl, rock with me tonight. Let's rock now. Let's rock.
Let's rock.
Yeah, I remember watching his videos on Overdrive Live back in that time, and so Caleb's unreal singer-songwriter. His crew, his team, they're all super talented, and so to be able to join forces not only on the first song we've ever done together, but I wanted it to be a mental health song for people who need to take things day by day, right? So like the anxiety we face when we add tomorrows to today, it just makes it worse, you know? And so it's based off of a scripture that I love very much in Matthew 6:34 about don't add tomorrow's anxieties. Do not be anxious for the next day, for the next day has its own problems, but today we get enough to do it, you know? So basically threw that song to him, and now it's on the radio, and I hope people are hearing the theme of it to, try to not stress out too much. Take it one day at a time.
Totally. I think the beautiful thing about music is that it's just like Bob Marley, right? When it hit, what is it?
When it hits, you feel no
pain. And it's just really just so good for your soul. And sometimes you don't even have to be like really focused on the lyrics or the melody. You're just listening, and it's just doing something to you. Like, so I think, a lot of your music is going to do that for a lot of people, but it makes me also it's so cool having this conversation because we're just talking openly. There's no, there's nothing really scripted, but it's making me reflect on a lot of times in my life. I remember in Madagascar, end of my second year, I was moving to the capital because I extended for a year, and it was just like a new transition for me because you're going from like this town of like 8,000 people, no running water, whatever, and now I'm like gonna be living in the capital and like working with a community health organization. I was in a relationship back then too, and like that's also like it was a tough transition to that. So I was in a hotel for a couple of days before I could move into like my apartment in the city. And so I finally had Wi-Fi, so I'm like listening to, like finding all music on YouTube, and I find this lady Lauren Daigle. Okay. I don't know how, you know who that is?
I don't.
Oh, she's so good. I was like, I thought she sounded like Adele. And I didn't know she was a Christian artist as well. So I was just listening because I thought her voice was so good, listening, and it was just like one of those moments where like these songs were just like hitting me, and like all my worries and stress and everything that I was feeling, all the anxiety, it was just melting away. And then it wasn't until like, I don't even know how long after I realized like, I think she's singing about Jesus and God. I didn't even know because I wasn't even focused on that. It was just like so focused on how these songs was making me feel in that moment. And I feel like that's like the cool thing about, some of your songs is that people are going to be listening to it and they might not even know there's like these underlying messages, these subliminal messages. There's inspiration from, the Bible.
Right.
But there's these lessons that they're going to take, that they're just going to hear the lyrics and they're going to be like, wow, this is like very powerful and it's changing my life. And that's the one thing I appreciate about going to church. I don't go to church a lot. I get invited by Mike Kai. Love you, Pastor Mike, every now and then, and I'll go. And I wouldn't say I'm like super religious, my family is, but like I can go to church even if I'm not like, say I'm not even your religion or somebody else's religion. I can still go there and still appreciate the message. And I think that's like the best part is like some people are kind of hesitant to like go to church because like I don't want to be converted into this and that. I'm just like, but you can just go and there's a universal message in everything, in all the scriptures. What are scriptures? This olelo no eals. What is that? Just Proverbs. We hear these quotes, we see these quotes on Instagram. It's the same thing, except in the Bible, it just says Matthew 3:6. It's just like whatever it is, right? It's the same thing instead. But I think we get a little, I guess, our guards a little up because it's like, ooh, religion, it's scary. but it's like it's just great messages. Whether that's the Bible, you're reading a book, Relentless, you're reading another book, it's all life lessons.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, like some people, it's a stigma, right? The word religion and like church or whatever the case, it can be a turnoff. There's a lot of hypocrisy we see happening where people are misrepresenting what the Bible is, teaching and not showing that aloha to people. So some people got turned off, understandably. But what we don't want to do is when the food that's meant for us to nourish our bodies was delivered by a bad waiter or waitress, we don't want to not eat ever again just because we never got the delivery right. And I think that's the way it is find the place that you're going to learn accurate knowledge from the Bible, and don't take your past experiences of, I had a bad experience at a restaurant before, so I'm never going to eat again, because we need food to survive and we need our spirituality. We need to read from things that are so ono for us, and that's why I really stand by the Bible, and I really feel like there's a lot of points in there that have saved my life, and there's always great books and other points out there. But yeah, I just love to share with people that don't let past experiences stop you from enjoying future ones that might have just been the wrong restaurant.
Yeah, I love that analogy. That's so awesome. Okay, so where my shishi meter is going up, but I do wanna talk about what your favorite song on the album is.
Yeah, so I would say my favorite song, I mean, it comes down to what categories. Are we talking about favorite collab song, or are we talking about like favorite overall?
Just overall. We'll get into other stuff in the social media questions.
Absolutely.
But just in general, like if somebody is like, or you're telling somebody, hey, I just wrote a new album, what is the first song you tell them to listen to?
I would say What Aloha Means. As cliche as it sounds, like, because it's the title of the album, I would genuinely say working with the Kamehameha School Children's Chorus and hearing their beautiful, innocent voices sing words that us adults gotta apply. I just hope that song lives to a point where it's like, if that was my contribution to the world in a way to help make a difference, that would be like my favorite one on the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, it's hard to beat that one.